Hello. I'm delighted to welcome you to Introduction to Supply Chain Management, a subject that, whether you realize it or not, touches nearly every aspect of your life and every corner of global business. Now, some of you may be majoring in marketing, finance, accounting, information systems management, or something outside of business entirely. And right now, you might be asking, why do I need to study supply chain management? Well, the answer is simple. In today's interconnected economy, understanding how supply chains work isn't just helpful, it's essential. Supply chain management, often abbreviated SCM, is the backbone of every business operation. It determines how companies source their materials, manufacture their goods, move their products, serve their customers, and respond to disruptions. Even if you're not a supply chain major, understanding how supply chains operate will change how you view the world around you. So let's begin with a fundamental idea. Supply chains are everywhere. You interact with them constantly, whether you're aware of it or not, every time you order coffee, download a new phone app, purchase a pair of sneakers, or buy anything else. Behind each of those actions is a carefully orchestrated set of activities involving suppliers, manufacturers, logistics providers, retailers, and you, the consumer. So, what exactly is a supply chain? At its core, a supply chain is a network of companies, technology, and processes that work together to plan, source, make, and deliver a product or service to the market. And supply chain management is the business discipline that manages the entire network to maximize value and efficiency. Let's break it down with a simple example. Think about your favorite breakfast cereal. Before that box landed in your pantry, it went through a long journey. Grains harvested on a farm, processed in a factory, packaged in a plant, shipped by a trucking company, stocked by a store, and finally bought by you. Each of those steps, each organization, worker, and system is a link in the supply chain. Supply chains connect the dots between supply and demand. They move products, manage services, coordinate information, and allocate capital. From the raw material to the end user, from order to delivery to return, supply chains make it all happen. Now let's take that a step further. Supply chain management isn't just about moving goods. It's about making smart, strategic decisions. It's about asking, where should we make our product? Which suppliers should we use? How much inventory should we keep? Which transportation mode should we select? How do we handle returns? And how do we do all this faster, cheaper, and more sustainably than our competitors? SCM involves 5 essential processes, often remembered as plan, source, make, deliver, and return. In this chapter, you will learn what each process involves and how they are supported by technology, people, and other processes that must all work in harmony. That's why SCM is one of the most interdisciplinary and collaborative areas of business. Let's take a look at a few real-world examples. Amazon is not just an online retailer, it's a supply chain powerhouse. The company's ability to promise 2-day, 1-day, and even same-day delivery depends on a highly coordinated network of suppliers, warehouses, data systems, drivers, and algorithms. And when supply chain disruptions happen, such as port delays, trucker shortages, or factory closures, Amazon's supply chain team must respond immediately. In 2020, the global pandemic taught everyone a lesson in supply chain disruption. Suddenly, we saw shortages of toilet paper, hand sanitizer, cleaning supplies, even meat and canned goods. Why? Not because the goods didn't exist, but because supply chains were not prepared for the sudden, dramatic shift in demand. This exposed vulnerabilities in just-in-time inventory models and emphasized the need for more resilient and agile supply chain systems. Another powerful example, the vaccine rollout. Getting vaccines from pharmaceutical manufacturers to billions of people worldwide required temperature-controlled storage, secure packaging, air freight, last-mile delivery, and coordination across private companies and government agencies. That's supply chain management in action, and it saved lives. But SCM isn't only about crisis response. It's also about driving innovation and creating a competitive advantage. For example, companies like Apple manage global supply chains involving hundreds of suppliers in dozens of countries. Apple's ability to launch a new iPhone and have it in stores worldwide on day one requires precision planning, seamless logistics, and advanced supplier management. On the other end of the spectrum, think about a local bakery. Even small businesses must source ingredients, manage inventory, deal with food safety regulations, and serve customers quickly. Whether large or small, every organization relies on supply chains. You might be surprised to learn how many business disciplines intersect with SCM. Marketing needs to know whether products are in stock, where they're located, and how fast they can be delivered. Finance tracks costs, capital tied up in inventory, and the return on supply chain investments. Accounting manages vendor payments, inventory valuation, and supply chain transactions. Information systems support the supply chain software used to plan, execute, and monitor supply chain performance. Human resources hires and trains the talent needed to manage operations, logistics, and procurement. So, understanding supply chain management isn't just about managing materials, it's about managing the entire business ecosystem. Let's now introduce two important models you'll learn more about in this chapter. 1. The efficient supply chain model. Designed for functional products with predictable demand, this model focuses on high volume, low cost production. Think bottled water, laundry detergent, or office supplies. 2. The responsive supply chain model. Ideal for innovative products with high variability in demand, this model emphasizes speed, flexibility, and customization. Think fashion apparel, smartphones, or custom-built furniture. Matching the right supply chain strategy to your product type and customer expectations is one of the most critical decisions any business can make. Throughout this course, you'll explore how to use forecasting and planning tools to align supply and demand, how to manage suppliers and build strategic partnerships, how to design efficient warehouse and transportation systems, how to evaluate trade-offs in cost, service, risk, and sustainability, how technologies like AI, blockchain, and robotics are transforming the future of supply chains. You'll also gain a deeper appreciation for the challenges facing global supply chains today. Trade disputes, climate change, cybersecurity threats, and geopolitical instability, all of which affect how businesses operate and compete. As you begin this journey, remember, supply chain management is more than logistics. It's more than moving things from point A to point B. It's about solving complex problems. It's about thinking critically, planning strategically, and leading cross-functional teams to achieve business success. And even if you never pursue a career in SCM, this course will sharpen your understanding of how business really works behind the scenes. It will help you think like a systems thinker, act like an innovator, and collaborate like a leader. So welcome to the course. Let's get started on the exciting path to mastering the art and science of supply chain management.